This week in East Brunswick, John Megg, host of Channel 8 Sports Talk, was at Central School to show a group of first graders how sports talk is made. First up, we'll look in on that class. Also this week, we'll see a bit of a Gerontology Workshop held at Playhouse 22 this Tuesday. Later, Shirley will sample the menu at the Forsgate Country Club. We'll catch some of the excitement at the Friends of the Library book sale on its opening night. On Consumer Aware, Adrian Eisner will tell you how to select someone to prepare your taxes. And we'll end with our regular Township Council review feature. Stay tuned. March is Youth Art Month in town, and the schools are celebrating with several special events. This month's edition of Spotlight on Education highlights the award-winning arts program at East Brunswick High School, with segments on studio art, drama, music, and the humanities. It will air next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. A display in the library will feature artwork from all 11 schools in town. Student artists will be honored at a special awards program later in the month. So remember to tune in for Spotlight on Education next Wednesday here on Channel 8, and be sure to stop by the library during March to see East Brunswick's best student artwork. Channel 8's John Megg, for 3 years host of Sports Talk, tried something a little different this week. It seems that John's young son, David, had a lot of classmates who were curious about his dad, the TV star. So John, along with Channel 8 staffers Peter Cantamessa and David Ambrosi, put together a simple presentation to give the kids a look behind the scenes. Over 60 fascinated first graders from classes taught by Mrs. Silverstein, Mrs. Fuchs, and Mrs. Glazer watched attentively and later participated in a mock production.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about television. First of all, how many people here watch TV? Oh my God. Okay, let me ask the next question then. How many of you have seen at least one program on Channel 8? Oh, we have good viewership. Okay, and now the most difficult question. How many of you have ever watched Sports Talk? Oh, I'm going to love this group. Very good. I think the best way to start off is to explain a little bit about the studio. And our stage is almost triangular. The stage is about this high off the ground, okay? And the reason that it is built up is so that the camera people can get a better picture with the camera. Our cameras are generally placed one here, that's camera 1, one in the middle, camera 2, and one at this end, camera 3. Okay? Now on the ceiling in the studio are lights, many lights, big lights, small lights, and they obviously light up the set or the stage here so that the camera can get a good picture. In the control room is where the director sits. Okay? We'll give him a big D for director. Now the director is the boss. He runs the show, so to speak. He's the one who tells the cameras which way to go, how far, how close. He tells the lighting person how much light to place on the stage. He tells the sound person to check the microphones. Okay? He tells the host to sit up properly and smile. And he tells our guests to keep cool and not sweat so much. We're going to have a little special feature today. We're going to do a production here in the library, and I believe 9 students have been selected to participate. Okay. The first thing the director does is say, quiet on the set.
Quiet on the set.
Oh, come on, Stacy, louder than that.
Quiet on the set.
Okay. The director now says to the sound person, how is the sound? Stacy?
What?
How is the sound?
Good.
No. You were to say, you're the director. So how is the sound?
How is the sound?
And Vera will say,
Good.
so you'll say, bring up sound. Stacy?
Bring up the sound.
Okay, and then we count down together. Ready? 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stacy says, cue the host.
Cue the host.
And this camera person points to Jeffrey. You're on, Jeffrey. For everyone,
For everyone.
have a good day.
Have a good day.
The director, Stacy, would say, everyone stay seated.
Everyone stay seated.
And Burak would say that.
Everyone stay seated.
And we would wait until the lights came down. And Kerry would turn down the lights, right? And Vera would turn down the sound. The set goes to black, and the show is over. Thank you very much. Let's have a nice hand for these people. You may keep your little cards.
Tuesday, the Gerontology Institute of New Jersey sponsored workshops at Playhouse 22. Dave Ambrosi asked Beverly Sakharov about what her organization does.
The Gerontology Institute of New Jersey disseminates information about aging. We do this through seminars and workshops in nursing homes and senior centers, as well as having seminars for for groups and individuals as well, for many purposes pertaining to aging and health.
What are the purposes of the workshops today?
Today we're going to, well, our theme is Enjoy Your Age and dispel the myths of aging. And also another part of the workshop is being creative. And that's what this workshop is about, creativity. And we're going to do that through thinking positively. As we get older, we tend to have more negative thoughts about ourselves because we lose our social roles. Our role as husband, or particularly we lose our role as wife. That's more common. And we also may have the loss of jobs and loss of physical health. And all these make us feel a lot more negative about ourselves. But hopefully the workshop is going to tell you that we can be positive, and we are going to use strategies to be positive. And we're going to give people something to take back with them. We're going to have the gift of happiness. People are going to approach other people and talk to them for a while, get to know them, and then they're going to give each other a compliment and tell them something positive. We all have a lot of positive traits, and we're going to find them today, and they'll bring those cards home with them to think about. That's
Okay, great. If anybody wants any more information, who would they contact?
Well, they can contact me directly, Beverly Sakharov, Director of the Gerontology Institute, at 257-4380, or they can write to the Gerontology Institute of New Jersey, P.O. Box 345, Milltown.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dave Ambrosi, Channel 8 News.
Hi, I'm Shirley for This Week in East Brunswick. Welcome again to my restaurant guide. I'm standing outside one of the area's most renowned establishments, the Forsgate Country Club. It's located on Forsgate Drive in Jamesburg. We will be stepping inside, before it gets too cold out here, to speak with Mr. Jack Abeel. Jack, I understand that one of the most important messages you would like to convey to the audience today is the fact that the restaurant at the club is always open for the public to enjoy. So maybe you'd like to elaborate a little bit on that.
Forsgate's been open to the public since 1955. And prior to that, we catered exclusively to our members. And in 1955, when we opened to the public, we decided that we would try to cater to the public as far as the dining aspect of the club goes. It is unique in that we are attached to a private golf course, which sometimes does confuse the dining public.
So what are the banquet facilities that are open to the public?
Our banquet facilities are quite extensive. There are two levels. Our main level is our biggest room, which seats approximately 200. We have a lower level which seats approximately 125. We have a formal garden that we have wedding ceremonies performed in, which has a gazebo. When the people are finished with the ceremony, they do come in to either the top level or the lower level for the reception.
So Jack, what would you say to someone who has never been to your restaurant before about the Forsgate?
I would say that Forsgate offers good quality food and service at a very modest price and a very enjoyable atmosphere.
And the hours of dining that are open to the public?
Dinner is served 5 p.m. until 9:30 p.m. Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. until 10:30 p.m. on Saturdays, and 12 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. on Sundays.
Okay, thank you very much, Jack. And we'd like to bring on the executive chef, who is Tony Mayer. Okay, what do we have here, Tony?
This is our spinach salad, a very favorite for appetizer or before the meal.
It looks very delicious. What does this consist of?
It's fresh spinach leaves, mostly young spinach, because the older spinach would be tough and bitter. And we have crisp bacon on top, and diced eggs, hard-boiled eggs, and Italian dressing, oil and vinegar dressing mostly.
It's an oil and vinegar dressing in that. Well, that looks very delicious. And what else do you have to show us?
We have entree here.
I can't wait.
Veal scallopini. It's small, tender veal slices. Veal scallopini.
Now I smell wine. Is there wine
There's
in there?
masala, veal scallopini masala. There's masala wine in there. It's like real thin, tender slices of veal, lightly cooked with mushrooms, fresh mushrooms in there, and
a gravy
they're,
sauce?
they're sautéed. The gravy is mostly natural as it comes from the veal.
Well, it smells very delicious.
It's a very favorite dish for us here, and when we serve it for dinner, for instance, almost 45% of the dinner customers take that for their entree.
Do they?
It's very,
well,
very.
It looks very good.
And for a vegetable, fresh broccoli spears, which we very lightly just steam them, and only a little butter sauce on top. And for a little snack on the side, we have a basket of. It's one of our customers' favorite too. Is fried zucchini slices. They're individual, fresh zucchini, sliced individual slices, and they're breaded like breadcrumbs, eggs and breadcrumbs, and then fried in oil.
Well, this was an exceptionally delicious meal, and I highly recommend the Forsgate Country Club to anyone that is interested in such fine dining. And I'd like to thank Tony and Jack for joining us today. And this is Chris Shirley for This Week in East Brunswick. And until next time, good dining.
Now let's join Sharon Karmazin at the Brunswick Square Mall.
There's a lot of excitement here tonight at the Friends of the Library book sale. We're here on opening night, and our sale will be running at the Brunswick Square Mall, JCPenney entrance, until Sunday after the mall closes. We've got about 40,000 books. They're all for sale. We have hardcovers and paperbacks, books for children and adults. And as you can see by the crowd back here, we have a lot of enthusiastic book lovers, not only from Middlesex County, but from as far away as Boyceville, New York, Pennsylvania. They're all here for the bargains. So we'd like to invite everybody within our viewing area to come out to the East Brunswick Friends of the Library book sale at Brunswick Square Mall, JCPenney Court, between now and Sunday.
Now let's join Adrienne Eisner in the studio.
Hello, and welcome once again to Consumer Aware. I'm Adrienne Eisner of the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. Who will prepare your income taxes this year? Approximately 38% of all taxpayers hire someone to do their taxes for them. Whether or not you pay for assistance, you are still responsible for making sure that your taxes are prepared accurately and filed on time. The quality and price of tax preparation services can vary greatly. If you decide you need assistance, you should shop around to find the preparer best suited to your needs. There are several types of tax preparers. An enrolled agent is certified by the IRS after having worked 5 years as an IRS auditor or after passing a government exam. Enrolled agents are authorized to represent you before the IRS. A certified public accountant, or CPA, has passed a professional qualifying exam. CPAs also are authorized to represent you before the IRS. Some attorneys also prepare tax returns, and they too are authorized to represent you before the IRS. A public accountant may have special training, but he is not certified and cannot represent you before the IRS. There also are individuals who may have special training or experience. Several preparation firms have extensive training and experience requirements for their staffs. To find the preparer that best suits your needs, call several and ask these important questions. What is your training or experience in preparing income tax returns? The more complex your tax situation, the more you may wish to get the advice of someone with specialized experience. What do you do to check for accuracy? Does someone else double-check errors? If so, are they reviewed for arithmetic errors only or also for errors in tax interpretation? Approximately how much will you charge for preparing my tax return, and how is that fee determined? Where can you be reached later in the year if I need help with an audit? Can you represent me if IRS audits my return? And if so, how much would you charge? When you visit the preparer, expect certain things. A preparer should go through a checklist to see which deductions you are qualified to take. A preparer should also sign your return and enter his or her name and Social Security number or federal identification number. This should be on the return. A preparer should not guarantee you a refund before he actually does your return, or suggest that you claim non-existent deductions, or commit any other improprieties. A preparer should not ask you to sign a blank return or a return that has been filled in pencil. You should gather and bring to the preparer any information or documents that might apply to your taxes, including a copy of your last year's return. Remember, too much information is always better than too little. After your return is prepared, check it to make sure that all the information is correct, and always maintain a copy for your own records. Although this is a subject most of us would like to postpone thinking about it, it is wise to get started early and avoid the last-minute panic. If you have any question about income tax preparers, please call us at the East Brunswick Consumer Affairs Office. We're there Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. Thank you for joining me on Consumer Aware.
At Monday's Township Council meeting, Administrator John Runyon explained the recommendation for use of community development revenue sharing monies.
The recommendation for this year, if I didn't say it, we did use the money in the last 3 years for the Senior Citizens Center. The recommendation for the utilization of the funds in this coming year is in two parts. The first part would be about $58,500 for housing rehabilitation in our community within the historic district. And this would be a part of the Neighborhood Preservation Program, for which we received another grant from the state of New Jersey. The balance of the funds, are about $24,000, would be earmarked as seed money for the East Brunswick Redevelopment Agency, which was recently created. We only have a one-year program before you. We feel that the money will be about $85,000. It might be a little more or a little less. The exact amount is not yet known. If it is more, our recommendation is that the funds be used to augment the monies available for seed money for the redevelopment agency. That's the proposal that's before you and available for public comment. Generally speaking, community development revenue sharing projects are projects that are supposed to generate jobs or in some way assist low and moderate income folk with housing or other kinds of improvements in their neighborhoods.
Are there any grants for the entire town in some bulk where somebody wants to improve their property or something of that type? Do we ever have that?
There are Well, not for the improvement of individual properties. There are some grants that are becoming available again under economic development and for industrial areas. The grant monies that we have under the Neighborhood Preservation Program are mostly for things like housing rehabilitation, physical improvements to the infrastructure of the community, that sort of thing. And some money in that program has been earmarked, for instance, for fixing up the homes on the exterior, painting. There will be a painting program in the Neighborhood Preservation Program for those folks who will be able to get paint to paint their homes themselves, that kind of thing. But any grant of that type that's available to us, we apply for. And the two that we have been able to get are neighborhood preservation and the community development revenue share.
We have them rehabs throughout the town.
Yeah, we've had previously housing rehabilitations throughout the community, the whole town, all over town. And that's been a part of some of our housing count in the urban league case as well. But we have had a rehabilitation program throughout the community over the last few years. And in the late 60s, we had a code enforcement and housing rehabilitation program in the whole Washington Heights area.
Right, but there's always an income requirement in order to
participate.
Get that.
That's correct.
I mean, it's not as though anybody who wants that can get it.
No, there's an income requirement. Right.
Later, Township Attorney Bertram Bush described the latest developments in efforts to block a rate increase by Store Cablevision.
On this past Friday, we appeared in Newark at the Office of Administrative Law. There was a hearing on the petition by Store Cable to raise their rates both for installation and various charges that they have. And today, there was a 2-hour conference. Mr. Neely was there. Today, I received calls from the East Windsor attorney who said that he and 5 or 6 other towns would like to get together with us and possibly jointly hire an expert who is experienced in handling rate cases in order to oppose the rate increase that Store is applying for. So we may be coming back to you with a recommendation in that regard.
Thank you.
It's just one other thing. I mean, I think that's a great idea. The thing that concerns me is that Store mailed out their new booklet, magazine, cable magazine, to their subscribers this past week. And if you look at the services available to every other community, East Brunswick is being shortchanged. Now, we all know that that's because they have this system that was put in 1968 that only has 31 channels, and when we get 41 channel service or something, then we'll have these other services. But I really don't think that we should have, I think we should fight vigorously to prohibit or to prevent a rate increase before the rebuild is completed and we have available to us all the services that everybody else has. Now, there's some, the idea of hiring an expert is wonderful because we were just talking, Lou and I, on Friday about the difficulty of finding staff resources to really participate in something like that vigorously. But I don't know whether our interests are coincidental with the other communities where they have full service.
If I may, Mr. Weber, I fully agree with the mayor, and I explained that to the East Windsor attorney, that we are in a separate situation from many of the other towns. And if a jointly hired expert did not come out for our position or somehow we were compromised, then we would not hire that expert.
That's all for this week. Thanks for watching.